Okay, shooters, our last video on this SKS scope mount install was too long. Read a bunch of comments on forums. People didn't watch it because it was too long, so I'm going to make another one here, short and sweet, short as I can. We went through a lot of time and trouble to develop what we hope is the best SKS scope mount on the market, and I'm going to show you why. First, I'm going to show you some real quick printouts of pictures of scope mounts on the market. These are all nice looking. They come with rails, they come with scope rings, they come with tri-rails, they come with little support brackets on the side with set screws and jam nuts for adjusting them left and right if the scope goes out. Rails, rails, rails. This one has a extra long rail. It does block part of your sights. You have to have your sights set up. It's got the little support screws for left to right adjustment if you lose your adjustment. This one goes all the way to the rear sight, attaches on at the latch cover pin bolt. I hear it flexes, but it also takes away your capability of using iron sights, which here at Trueshot we don't like. This is the choke. A copy of it made by, I believe, ProMag now. This is the only one that I've ever used, and I think you'll find if you research these that actually works well. It's made out of steel. You drill and tap the whole 4 places in the side of the receiver. It's kind of hard to get your receiver cover out, but you can do it. This one will repeat until now. Here's the problem with these other mounts. They want you to file these 2 points on the receiver cover. If any of you have bought these kind, this is the actual Russian receiver cover of this rifle I'm working on. This isn't the right way to mount a scope. It doesn't work. I mean, even on this Russian, you can move this back slightly, back and forth. It does not work. That's why some of them added these, so you could tighten it up more. Read the reviews. Go and read the reviews where people have actually are not builders, they're actually builders and shooters. You'll find out that these don't repeat. You take them off to clean the rifle, put it all back on, and you've lost your scope zero. That's what we've set out to remedy with this scope mount of ours. Do the research, like I say. Go. Amazon's a good place for a lot of reviews. Type in SKS scope mount, and then read all the reviews on all the various kinds they sell. Like I say, the choke works. I used one of those 25 years ago. I've put them on several SKSs over the years. Anyway, we went to a lot of trouble to find the exact shape of the receiver dust cover and receiver itself. We used high-tech measuring equipment to get the exact shape of this. We worked with our extrusion company to get the exact shape from that measurement. This scope mount cover goes on. You're going to drill and tap 2 holes only, 1 on each side. The scope cover is already a jig. It tells you exactly where the holes go. This is exactly the size it's supposed to be. You can't move this left or right when it's just sitting on there without any hardware in it. You get the holes drilled and tapped in the right place, and we make that very easy for you or for a gunsmith or a machine shop if you want to have somebody else do it. It's not that hard. Once you get the 2 holes drilled and tapped and you put in the 2 set screws and jam nuts we have that come with it, it can't move up and down. So the mount itself automatically aligns itself to the center of the receiver, which is the center of the bore. It cannot move left or right. It cannot move up and down. It's just that simple. That's what we designed it to be. We designed it to be easy to install. We designed it to be repeatable. That was the whole point, to hold a full-size scope down to a small red dot. You'll be able to take it apart real quick, take it off, and your scope's going to come back into zero, and we've proven that with our range tests. We're still working on getting a video made of that. We're going to do it again and again until we get a video made of it. But that's the main part about this mount, is there's no gap in there. This is tight, and this goes for the Yugo, Chinese, Russian, Chinese, and Norinco, and SKS. There's very, very little air gap in there, and that's exactly the way we want it to be. that keeps you tight. Everything is tight on this. You can't move it when it's just sitting on there without it being mounted with hardware. So there's no place for the mount to go if it wants to, and as you know, these rifles have a pretty good impact on cycling. So with that, I'm going to drill and tap these two holes and show you the very quick and easy way to put it on, and then we'll be done with the video. Alright guys, our shooters, here's the scope mount drilled and tapped on both sides. Here's the receiver drilled and tapped on both sides. As you can see, you're tapping through a very thin wall here. Keep something in mind if you do this yourself, or if you have somebody else do it. Keep downward pressure when you're tapping this hole, so when you start cutting into the steel past the aluminum, you want to make sure that you're keeping enough downward pressure that you start cutting the steel and you don't strip the aluminum. Anybody that's done any drilling and tapping will understand that. That's it. This is ready to install, and it's going to stay installed, and it's going to repeat when you take it apart and clean it. So let's put it together. Okay, I put the bolt carrier, recoil spring, dust cover all back in. I put the mount on. I put the rear latch cover bolt. It's a 6mm by 45 with a lock nut. You will get two of these lock nuts, by the way, because after you take this apart several times, that lock nut will start to lose its locking feature, so we give you an extra one. Next, what you want to do is put the bolt in the locked back position. Take one of the set screws, thread it all the way through the hole you just tapped until it touches the bolt, the actual bolt carrier. You'll know because it won't turn anymore. Back it out 1.5 turns. Put a jam nut on it. Hold the Allen, the set screw in the same place it was. 7/16 box end wrench. And just snug it up. No Loctite necessary. Do the same to the other side, and you're going to be completely surprised at how solid this mount is. And when you take it apart to clean it, you put it back on your gun and you go out to the range this next time, or hunting, or whatever you're doing with this gun, and your scope's right on zero, you're going to be glad you picked this. So all the way into touching the bolt with the bolt all the way back, back it out 1.5 turns, put the jam nut on it, hold that set screw, tighten it down, and done. It's done. That's what we think is the best fitting, most repeatable scope mount for the SKS rifle on the market. This rear peep sight is optional. It increases your sight radius. It gives you a great sight view with our front sight or the factory front sight. If you take this out, you have a completely see-through channel to use your factory sights. If you don't want to use the peep sight, if you use our front sight, our Generation 2 or our Generation 1 AK style AK-47 style sights, no, there's no windage adjustment on there. So what you can do is put a Mojo rear peep sight in up here in the factory original rear sight position. That's another option. This video's got to stay short, so it's a simple install for people that can do this at home. It's designed to be really simple to install. It's foolproof. If a gunsmith does it, he shouldn't charge much because it's so easy. Same with the machine shop. That's the install of the Trueshot SKS rear scope mount with peep sight, see-through scope mount. Thanks for watching this, and stay safe and have fun.